Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I've had a customer bring this bike in to say they've got some noise when they're changing into the lowest gears, the larger sprockets on their rear cassette. Now, having a look at it already when it's on the stand, you can see that this derailleur arm is really on a kink. The arm should be coming straight out about here. Now, it could be the arm itself is actually bent out of alignment. You can see here that this part has definitely had a bump at some point. It maybe has gone over rocks and just pulled this part of the derailleur arm out. But actually, I think the main issue is with the gear hanger. Now, this is the part that the derailleur attaches to on most modern bikes. If you've got a cheaper bike, no offense intended, you may not have a gear hanger. You might just have the derailleur itself attaching straight to the dropouts, to the rear part of the frame just here. But I think this is slightly out of alignment. It's not a big job, but it's the best if you have the right tool for the job. You don't have to get the right tool. As with anything in life, it's easier if you do, and there's far less chance of breaking things. So I'm going to introduce you to my gear hanger alignment tool. And here it is, a very clever piece of kit. This part here will screw into where the derailleur currently is screwing into the gear hanger. And then on the other side, you might be able to see on the video, hopefully, you can see some notches. It's basically a measuring device, and it will tell you how far the gear hanger is potentially out of alignment. Anyway, there's no point me explaining to you on the work table. I'll put it onto the bike and you can see it in real time. The first thing we're going to do is to put the chain one gear up from bottom. So we're going to go into, in this respect, gear 8 because it's a 9-speed bike. I'll explain why in a moment, and then we're going to undo the derailleur and remove it from the gear hanger. But what you can do is just to remove a little bit of pressure on the B screw. This bad boy screws through and attaches or pushes against the gear hanger. If you're undoing this, unscrewing this with that pressure attached, you're going to be potentially damaging the end of this screw around about here somewhere. So I'm going to relieve pressure, and then I'm going to, there we go, undo. Don't worry about your chain, nothing's going to happen in that respect. It's all attached, and we're just going to let this hang loose. What I'm also going to do in a moment is give this a good clean as well, because that's looking pretty grubby. And then that will make sure there's no dirt on the threads to damage the gear hanger or the alignment tool when I reattach it. So a real quick clean. There we go. Little quick look at the threads as well. They look fine to me. So we're going to attach the alignment tool, and then once this is on, I'll back out the camera and you can have a better view. You might see now why I've chosen to put the chain one sprocket away from the end. It's to allow the thread of this not to touch the chain when it comes through the other side where my finger is now. Hopefully you can see it appearing just there, and it means there's a bit of movement, a bit of play. So this is now hanging loose, but enough where there's still a bit of movement, but tight enough where it's not going to be wobbling backwards and forwards. So let me just stop the video and zoom out for you guys. That's much easier. Okay, so here we have it. This is the tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to align the valve for the wheel at the bottom. And this is because if the wheel has a buckle in it, you want to make sure when your alignment is happening, you're aligning to the same part of the wheel throughout the process. So our valve is just here. Bearing in mind this should be hanging completely vertically. Hopefully you can see it's going in at quite an angle already. So I think we have found the issue. I think it is going to be a bent gear hanger. That derailleur arm I mentioned earlier on, that might also be the issue, but there's no point doing that until we sort this out. So pushing this measuring tool against the wheel, we can see, my head's going to be in the way probably, that is around about 65mm. What we do then is we bring this around with the valve as well, so it's exactly the same part of the wheel. By spinning around, it might be we tighten things slightly, no big drama. And just out of focus, I know, we're going to measure as well. And now that has got to just over 70mm. We're then going to go to the top of the bike as well, without hitting the camera. And going to the camera here, we are at 80. You'll have to take my word for it, but way up here, we're on 80mm. So that's a massive difference. If you remember, we were 65 down the bottom, so that's a 15mm difference That is huge when it comes to that little bit of bend in the gear hanger. So we're going to do a bit of maths now. If it's over 80 at the top and 65-ish at the bottom, it's a rough calculation, but we need to get things to be around about probably 70-ish mil all the way around, 75 mil perhaps. So what we're going to do is we're going to, with this tool, this is designed to bend the gear hanger. A bit of technology explanation for you. Derailleurs cost a few quid. These usually don't. On higher end bikes, you might have to spend 20 or 30 quid, but usually these are about a tenner or less. They are made of a softer, more pliable metal than a derailleur. The idea being then that if someone clonks their bike, just like this person has, this will bend and sometimes even snap so that it sacrifices itself in order to save the derailleur. In this case, it hasn't snapped, as you know, but it has bent itself. So using this tool that we've got, we are now going to put our hands on it and just pull away from the wheel. Because it's bent in here, by pulling away, it means the gear hanger here, you can see it's already moving a little bit, the gear hanger will hopefully straighten out a bit. So because it's a pliable metal, oh wow, that's really soft. That's just straightened it out a little bit. What I'm going to do now then is follow the wheel. Remember, we've got the valve that's following us. That is about the same measurement already. So just get around the camera, oops, and then get our way to the top. Now before, if you remember, it was 80 or just over 80 actually. It's now 70, which is great. And the fact that they've all been 70 so far means by process of elimination, there we go, that'll be 70 as well. So that was a small pull I made, but as you've seen, just 2 or 3 millimeters difference at this end becomes over a centimetre down the other end, and that is why there's that clonking noise, I reckon, on the larger sprockets. Now it could be the customer has another issue altogether, but there's no point even seeing what other issues there might be when you know that's bent out of alignment. So get that sorted. Now we can resume the video with the derailleur back on the bike, and we can see if maybe there's another issue as well. Hopefully not. So getting things all aligned, we can put the derailleur back on. Now I mentioned earlier on about the B screw. There's a lip that has to fit above this side of the gear hanger. So if you move the whole thing around in the latter stages of tightening, it will just make sure that the derailleur is on properly. You'll know if it's not, because if you put tension here, this whole derailleur will pull down as well. Well, that's not happening, so we're in business. Just a final tighten, and I think we're there. The outer cable's lost a couple of clips, but that's not going to affect the issue of the bike. It just means I need to get some cable ties on that. There's a goodwill gesture for the customer. Okay, we're now back in business. Moving around, hopefully that hasn't made you seasick being moved around on the camera. Okay, we were having some rattling in the lower gears, so let's see how we are. Let's go down to gear 9, the lowest sprocket, the highest gear, and then let's go to 8, 7, 6, 5. They said it was around about 4 or 3, so okay, bit of noise there. So we'll have a look at that in a second. So that's 4. Yeah, it's done it now, but 3, 2, 1. It wasn't that impressive, was it? You know what I think's happened as well? I think the chain was definitely out of alignment because of the gear hanger, obviously was, but I think also the cable has stretched a little bit too. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go up this end to the barrel adjuster. Now you normally have barrel adjusters at the derailleur end as well, particularly for road bikes, but in this case, that's not the case. So this barrel adjuster just here enables you to just add a bit more tension to the cable. Looking in this way, you're going to go anti-clockwise, although that is traditionally seen as lefty-loosey. In this case, it's actually going to be pulling out, therefore stretching the cable. And this was all the way in, so I think what I've just done is about a whole turn. I reckon that's made all the difference. Let's see. Back here, hopefully we're still in focus. And let's try it again. Go to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Now it's a bit sluggish going down the gears, so we can always move that barrel adjuster clockwise again to help it move more speedily. So I've moved that barrel adjuster clockwise again, just to remove some of that tension that I've just added. So it's going up nicely. Excellent. And now let's see what it's like going down. Excellent. We're in business. So I think the customer was on the money in terms of things not being right. Well, they definitely were. I think I was on the money with the gear hanger. Again, definitely was, because you can see it was out of alignment, but also the cable needed a little bit of tension added to it as well. After a few hundred miles, that's going to happen. That's perfectly normal. But now you guys know how to adjust your gear hanger. Get yourself a gear hanger alignment tool. Don't mess around with making your own or mucking about in different ways. Mine cost me £36 and I've had it for years, so it's not a huge expense. If you're going to work on bikes yourself, you will easily get your money back on it. But don't settle for cheap, don't settle for second best, and don't settle for making your own and hoping it will do. If you knacker these threads, you'll knacker the bike, and you don't want to go there. Get a decent one, do the job properly, and you'll be able to ride for hundreds, thousands of miles with no problems. And there we are, job done. I hope that's really helpful, guys. This isn't a high budget multimedia Hollywood blockbuster. This is just a way for you to keep your bikes on the road, and I really hope it's helpful. Obviously I did it for free. I'm not sponsored, I'm not paid. I would really value you to like and subscribe to the channel, add any comments, request for videos, and I'll do all I can for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.